Hi, it's Karen Keller here again. I want to thank everyone who commented and sent their questions about this discovery call. They were really great. In our last training video, I shared with you the importance of the discovery call in coaching, how it is instrumental in determining what happens next in the coaching process or relationship. You know, when you start to develop your discovery call, you will gain the confidence to move the client closer to saying yes to coaching. And what I mean is getting the client to make a serious commitment to coaching. Helping the client to have the best coaching experience is important to the client and to you. When you make this happen, you're going to be on the road to forming a solid and committed coaching relationship where the client respects you, values what you have to offer, and the progress that they can make in coaching. One thing I want to reiterate is the importance of you, the coach, answering the 3 pre-discovery call questions that I mentioned in our first training video. The first question was, how do I want to feel minutes before I coach a client? And that's very important. The second question is, what is the most exciting part about the coaching process? And third, what needs to happen in the coaching relationship to keep me enthused, interested, and wanting to continue with this particular client? Knowing the answers to these 3 questions will truly enhance your effectiveness as a coach and increase client commitment and progress. Now today I want to share with you the importance of handouts. When I received my coach training, I had access to a tremendous amount of handouts, coaching materials, tip sheets, etc. The handout isn't a spur-of-the-moment thing, though, that you can just select and just give to your client. Unless, of course, you are doodling and you're brainstorming with your client, then it can be a very valuable piece of recollection of what's occurred in that coaching session. But generally speaking, the handout is not an afterthought, no. Rather, the handout should be given serious attention by coaches. It's a great and valuable tool. A well-developed handout reflects the dedication that you have toward your client's learning and discovery. So it takes some time to develop a few good handouts that you can use. Now, I've constructed a certain process which gives me templates that I can tweak to the particular needs or goals of my client. A great handout can stimulate interest, it can remove blinders, and a great handout helps the client get organized with actions toward their goal. And what I want to do is show you how to use the handout and to create new customized handouts to fit the unique needs of your client. So what's the benefit of using a handout in the coaching process? Well, first let's clarify what handouts really are. I typically work with 7 different types of handouts. They can be checklists, tip sheets, cheat sheets, assignment programs, mind maps, flowcharts, and something that I call game charts. Now, the type of handout that you use depends on its intended use. For example, I was mentoring a coach who was at a loss as to what direction to take with a client that he was coaching. His coaching skills were fine, but the client seemed to get distracted easily. He was not able to focus, and he ended up not accomplishing much in the coaching sessions. So I suggested he, the coach, use a handout. Knowing that the majority of the population is visual, about 65%, I thought the client needed to see something in order to concentrate or focus. Well, together we created a handout that was a cheat sheet for what the client was working on. It took him from where he was stuck through the necessary steps that he wanted to take or needed to take to get where he wanted to be. Each step was tailored to barriers he was wrestling with and resources that he had at his disposal. Well, the effect this handout had on him was amazing. He was able to see what was available to him, and it gave him insight as to where he could go if he did this or that. You see, the handout, a useful coaching tool, was exactly what he needed to get unstuck. And of course, he thought the coach was brilliant and signed up for more coaching, all because of the experience the handout helped him have. So what is the purpose of using handouts? Well, they help the client focus. They pay closer attention to something that is right in front of them. Handouts are attractive to both the visual and the auditory learner. They can see and hear in their mind what is on the handout. It helps kind of cement what the handout is about. The handout gives the client something to focus on. It brings to the forefront, real close to them, something that will be beneficial to the client. And a handout also brings the client closer to having an experience with the coach. They share with you what they're seeing and what it evokes in them. The handout opens the door for the client to think about and consider possibilities or new ideas. You see, looking at a tip sheet can initiate new thoughts. The handout keeps on working even when the coach is not there. You see, the client can refer to it and keep working on it and then bringing it back to the next coaching session. The handout encourages understanding and storage in their memory of information. It promotes active listening and conversation, and it helps the coach partner with the client in achieving coaching objectives and formulating a plan. And the biggest, most exciting thing about a handout does is that it promotes action. So let's look at a typical sample handout. In this first handout, as you can see, there are a few questions with a bunch of white space for writing. Now, this is typical of a handout, mainly because people don't pay much attention to what the handout can really do for a client. The thing that doesn't make this handout as effective is because there's too much white space. And why is that? Well, there's lots of room to write tons of thoughts and ideas, etc., but it doesn't keep the client as focused as it could. You need to realize when a simple handout like this isn't enough to help the client. Now let's take a look at this second handout. This handout is very different, as you can see. It gives options, choices at different stages of the goal process. It has room for writing down ideas, but not too much room, so the client gets easily sidetracked. You'll notice it provides a guide for the client to make progress while exploring. Also, look at the color, the design, the shapes, everything that gets the client excited, and it sparks a feeling of wanting to do this. You see, the second handout takes the client down a path of information, choices, and provides a map showing the relationships among decisions and actions and their goal. This handout is a powerful tool that is intentionally designed to get the client unstuck and moving closer to their goal. And I can't stress this enough. Giving the client something concrete, solid, something that they can touch and hang on to or reread over and over again is truly valuable. Why? Because it keeps them focused and moving toward their goal. So when do you use handouts? Well, you use them when the client is stuck, when you yourself as a coach are at a loss. You can use it when time is an issue, when the client needs to access a piece of internal information. Handouts of case studies are very valuable because it tells a story, and we all relate to stories. You use a handout when you need to summarize key points from a previous coaching session. You can use a handout when you have something important that you don't want the client to forget. You see, handouts encourage note-taking, scribbles, maps, idea capturing, and taking action. So as you can see, using handouts can be very instrumental in how the client learns, processes information, even affecting how comfortable they are sharing their thoughts and feelings about their goals in coaching. Now, I've used handouts with many of my clients, corporate, small business, professional and individuals, executives, and every one of them loves to get a handout. There are more things about handouts, like the types, knowing when to use them at certain stages of the coaching process. It's important to know how to keep them interesting to the client, and a bunch of other stuff around the different types of handouts. Again, I enjoy sharing this information and these tools specifically today about handouts with you that can help you bring your coaching practice to a new level and attract more and better clients than you thought possible. I'd love to hear your thoughts or comments on how you use handouts in your coaching practice. Please leave a comment or a question that you might have, or go back to our Facebook page and share your questions with our entire Influence community. I'll be back tomorrow with my third training video where I'll share with you how to use something that many coaches don't really use or are uncertain on how to use, and that's email coaching or e-coaching. And in the next video, I will have an offer for you. I want to share with you one sure thing that you can do to get more clients than you could possibly handle, and at the same time create a waiting list. I have done this, and I've taught many coaches who have used this to build a very successful coaching practice. It doesn't matter if you're a startup coaching, in a startup coaching practice, or a well-seasoned coach. This single idea has the power to quickly build and enhance your coaching practice. So I'll be back tomorrow to tell you about e-coaching and more about this exciting offer, and you need to watch if you're really ready to take your transformation to the next level. This offer will only be open for a limited number of people who are ready to build this into their coaching practice. Until next time, influence it.